They just want you to sit in your chair and go, hip hip hooray, for the Western press and the Western narrative. Regurgitating the same old, every single day, without the stop. Please watch the first two episodes, the second season. Look at that.
Absolutely fascinating.
And it was the first time the Beatles had really stopped being semi-professional almost.
Hello everyone, back here again. Got my old mate with me, Anthony, and God knows what we'll be talking about tonight. We'll be going off on tangents, and it depends on your comments as well. You could be asking a question, I don't know, you might do. You could say, so it's everything, don't forget it's literature as well. The history of literature besides history itself. So, just use a few comments and things like that and be good. It really will be good. Because Anthony and myself, we're all geared up for it, as they say. I'll just thank these people, Gap Painting Services, for sponsoring every pod that I do, every single pod, and the fully time served these lads, every single one of them. They served the time to be what they are, painters and decorators, great fellas. They're fully insured just in case anything goes wrong, just in case. They're fully insured. And the first class, they even give you references, of people who they've done work for. And it's all 5-star. And that's Gap Painting Services, the sponsors of every single podcast that I do. Every one of them. And just get them in. You can look, if you're an elderly person and if you're an NHS worker, you get a special discount. If you don't fit into the categories, just get them down to give you the price. That's all. Just give you the price without any obligation. That's Gap Painting Services, the sponsors of all the podcasts I do. I'm going to bring in Anthony. He's been itching to get on. Can't wait to talk to you. There he is. Are you happy?
I've been crying at the back door there trying to get in, yeah. Good evening, Frank. Good evening, one and all out there. And, yeah.
So what do you think of like, we talk about history. We talk about not only history, but also the history of literature and how it combines to today. It's incredible.
It is incredible, Frank, and you know what? There's continual connection between history and literature, and it goes back to what you said last year, early the year before, when you said history should be about the truth. It's not a pointless, John Lennon lived over there sometime. Charles Dickens apparently has his pint in that pub. It's got to be about the truth. And the only reason that we can gauge the truth against the fiction It's the genius of our beautiful, wonderful literary giants who
Yes.
write the truth. And
Well, go on. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, we talked privately the other night, um, and I forget which night because it feels like years since we've been together, but about just a short poem, which tells the truth in harrowing detail when you examine what it's about. And we're talking about Rudyard Kipling,
Oh,
and the one line he said cuts through all of the propaganda and the flag
every,
waving
everything
heroics.
comes through. If any question why we died, tell them because our fathers lied. It's incredible.
Yeah,
It's the shortest poem, but it's the most cutting poem ever written.
yeah,
By it's not because of the likes of Rudyard Kipling signed a paper because the army, the forces were saying no, you've got bad eyesight, we can't accept you. And his son said, "Listen, Dad," to Kipling himself. "Listen, Dad, you can get me in. You know people. Please get me in." This is the First World War. So anyway, he had a word, and the army said, "Listen, look, we're not taking any responsibilities, but if you sign this paper, this document, saying that it's okay, you're giving your permission rather than us." So he said, "Okay," and he signed it. But it wasn't only Kipling's son; it was lots of lads. I forgot to ask Jason actually because I filmed when I went over to the graves, the trenches and places over in Belgium and France, and I seen tombstones of 14 and 15-year-old British lads, 14 and 15. Now their fathers signed the same paper, but it doesn't only like apply to them. If any question why we died, tell them because our fathers lied. The dads who signed this piece of paper. But also, it meant the establishment. It meant the people who sent the lads out to war in the first place.
yeah,
You see, and it applies today.
yeah. The reasons for war,
Yeah,
weapons of mass destruction.
yeah. Weapons of mass destruction was based on a lie. I'll just say, Polo. Hi, Franco. Hiya, Polo. Johan. Good evening, Frank, Mr. Brown, and legends. And the vlogs. Evening, you two. Are you both? He never finishes a sentence. Are you both?
Oh, we're not drunk.
No. And Toscana, Bonacera, Franco, Anthony, and chatters looking forward to tonight's chat. That's nice.
That's all.
And Bella says, Bonacera, Franco, and Antonio, and everyone. I hope you are all well. And Polo says, sadly, the establishments in the UK, in brackets, government, for decades hide the truth and delete smear people who expose corruption and criminality. And he's spot on there because
Yeah,
remember when you get all the propaganda and whatever. And was it Leo Tolstoy or Dostoevsky? I always get mixed up with these two. Who said history would be a wonderful thing if it was true.
yeah.
Because you
Absolutely,
don't know what you're reading.
absolutely. That's why I figured that one poem that you read to open it is just that's it's based on harrowing events. This
Yeah,
is a man who lost his son in
Yeah.
war and then thought, I wish to God I hadn't signed that piece of paper. I wish to God I hadn't believed what they were saying, the nonsense. This will all be over by Christmas, don't worry.
Just
Or,
imagine, just imagine, Anthony, if the government said uh, the mothers will have to sign, if they want their children to go to war. I don't think one piece of paper would have been signed.
no. I know Laney would not have signed a piece of paper.
I'm telling you now, not one mother would have signed a paper for their 14 or 15-year-old son to go to a war to be killed. It was a certain death.
Yes,
It's just like um, uh, our wonderful, our wonderful First World War poet who couldn't even get published until 12 years later,
yes,
Wilfred Owen. On
yes,
his first two lines in Anthem for Doomed Youth, the title says everything.
yes,
Anthem for Doomed Youth.
yes.
What passing bells for these who die as cattle? Those two lines. And
Absolutely,
it coincides with Rudyard Kipling, doesn't it, really?
absolutely does, because it's the real, it's the bottom line, it's the truth. This is it. And I so absolutely agree with what you said then about the mother, the mother of the planet would stand back and say, behave this nonsense. You're talking, you're full of, but I think the possible greatest complication with the male gender is that we think in terms of everyone else. We think, oh, that's right, go over there.
Oh,
And
we're macho, you see. We're supposed to be macho. We don't think
we don't
about preservation. This
know.
is what this is what the male this is what the male function is. We don't care about preservation. Remember when I said about Vietnam?
Yes,
Remember, and I said about when they were dropping that napalm in jungles, to these villages, poor people in a fucking village, and they
yeah,
were dropping napalm. What
yeah.
else were they destroying besides? What else were they destroying besides humans?
They were destroying a line, a race. They were destroying a, a husband, a wife, a longevity of a race. They were trying to obliterate a
Oh
race.
yeah, well that's genocide, isn't it?
Yeah,
But they were also destroying the animal kingdom. How many animals died in them jungles?
absolutely. Yeah,
You've got the likes of Argentina, a massive fire
yeah,
deliberately started by some people from Israel. They collared them, they got them, and a big. It's horrible. You want to see it
yeah.
now? What about the animal kingdom? How
It's
many
just
died?
yeah, destroying the planet. And then
I,
you've only got to go back. Well, you go back to the 1400s and Leonardo, who was not allowed to go to school to be educated, and spent his life, his early life, in the forests and the wonder of surrounding Florence. And he learns everything he learns about the mechanics of movement and nature and the beauty of art through studying wildlife,
yep,
not through studying the high ranking rich.
yep. Simple as that. Simple as that. Lynn, evening, Frank and Anthony. Hope you're both okay. Yes, thank you,
Thank you,
Lynn.
Lynn, and we hope you are too. We're good.
And Johan says Rudyard Kipling was born in Bombay, Mumbai. Yeah, stroke my well, it was Bombay, now it's Mumbai.
Yeah,
And that's Johan coming.
brilliant, brilliant, Johan, and that's fantastic because we're not all born in Essex or around Essex. It's a global thing that we've got to take the guilt for this and also acclaim the goodness.
Yeah. Do you know, look, it's no matter how we look at, things within literature and the realities of what's going on today, there's something here, look. And let's say the Poland. The ironic thing is, Napalm stroke Agent Orange came home with the American troops. It's reported it's killed more men in the late 70s. The aftermath of that stuff, yes, and they're still dying in Vietnam.
Yeah,
They're still dying, believe it or not. This never comes out, this, by the way. It used to come out a few years ago, but not now. That people, Japanese, certain Japanese that are born, they're still dying through, like the family who was in Hiroshima and Nagasaki from the effects of the A bomb, the two bombs that were dropped. There's only one country in the entire world who's dropped weapons of mass destruction, and that's America. You've only got to look at that napalm. That's a weapon of mass destruction.
yes,
You've only got to look at the A bombs.
yeah. They had no concept of how many people it would slaughter, just kill a load, and it's it goes against, and we don't expand about religion. When we come on, we talk about facts and we talk about the recording of facts through literature, through history. We don't profess to know anything about different people's religions. Your religion is a deeply personal thing to you. But if there was anything that we, the human race, has done against God, then it was certainly those events.
Of course, it's like today. I've just got to bring this in. I mentioned the president of Finland, Stubb. He is one idiot. He's a Russophobe because he's on the borders with Russia. And they were trained before this fella came in. They were trained with Russia. Everything was all right. Everything was great. Oh, we had wars in the past, but that's all forgotten. And so they were trained. Well, this fella comes in and says, I want to join NATO. Obviously, he's a puppet of America. So he said today in Davos, the WEF, the World Economic Forum, who wants to rule the whole globe. And he said about Russia, he said, they're not winning the war, they're not doing this, they're not doing that. And, hang on a minute. Russia don't want to take all Ukraine, they're just taking the oblast of Russian-speaking people. And they are. So he wants to escalate the war. He wants to escalate the war, along with other European leaders, the EU, with the exception of a few countries and their leaders. They just say, no, not escalate. So anyway, this Stoob said, this is fucking Stoob today. And he said, you've only got to look, he's bulling up Trump. He said, you've only got to look at Iran. You've only got to look at the Asian countries. You've only got to look at Venezuela. You've only got to... He said, look at Syria. Everything's all right. Syria is a failed state. There's a war going on now. There's a civil war going on right now.
Yeah.
This is what the Americans have done to the whole of the Middle East. Civil wars, everything. And this fella is coming out and saying everything's all right with America going in and say, they've sorted out Iran. Or they're going to sort out Iran. They've sorted out Syria. They've sorted out this. They've sorted out fucking Venezuela. And it's the same government that are in power. The Chavez government, before him, they tried to get rid of him, Chavez, before Maduro came in. How can a fucking cunt? I'm sorry to swear, but it really annoys me. How can America go into, listen to this, how can America go into a sovereign country, kidnap the leader and his wife and bring them over to America to stand trial for what? Based on lies. Remember the weapons of mass destruction?
And
I'm fucking lost it now. I'm just so frustrated.
I think
with the way
I think you're exactly right. And then where we gain strength from, or not even strength, it's a compassion from, is the literary geniuses who write it and manage to get it out from times of absolute horrendous, from Shakespeare's times to now. There has never ever been a good peaceful time, because in the times at the end of the wars, we imagine it's peaceful because we're building houses, we're building schools after the bombing and all this, but we've still got those stares.
Do you know what was the most peaceful decade? And it's mad, this. The most peaceful decade, but let me hear me out on this. The most peaceful decade was the 50s. And you used to get advertisements on the telly and on the radio. The Ovaltine. We are the Ovaltine. And boys, we wake up each morning bright and early so we can have our Ovaltine, whatever it was. Right. So that was the thing here. So we're all right. Yet we had Korea War going on with the Americans and dragging us into it in 1953.
Yeah.
You also had the Suez Canal fiasco in the late 50s. You had wars going on.
Yeah.
And yet it was supposed to be, and it was, the most peaceful decade of the 20th century.
But someone's really... Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah. Because my dad did active service in national service, which is a grand name.
In the layer somewhere.
Well, he was in Korea.
Oh, well, there you go.
He went to Korea, and he was 18, 19, and he went, and he befriended Australians, Canadians, and guess what? 90% of the people he befriended were slaughtered, wiped out, gone. So the name, you know, it's like, oh, it's your choice, Frank. Come over with us. It's national service. Do your bit. Still the Americans pulling the strings. We
all
want
the time.
6,000 people.
All the time. You've only got to watch American films from the 50s. I used to go to Gaiety when I was a kid, and to watch the cavalry, cowboy films. This is what you were inundated with. And my uncle Frankie used to take me, so we used to sit there, watching it. And the cavalry was always slaughtering the indigenous native of America, slaughtering them.
They were the
And
bad.
when you see the Bazzies, the Apaches, or like that, the Apaches, and you see them holding up. Let me try and you see an Apache going holding up a scalp,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Have a guess who the scalpers were?
The American, the soldiers,
Yeah, they were
American.
the scalpers. Because the bounty hunters, they took the scalp because they were getting money for every Indian they killed. But you don't see that. They
No,
always put it on the bad guy, as they call them,
no.
and the Apaches with the bad. I'll just go through a few.
As the British with the Irish.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. And the Polo says, Frank, why do the elite class hate Russia? Is it jealousy, stroke, envy, and greed? Look, let's take this country for a start, right? We've always hated them. We always wanted Vladivostok. We always wanted them. And because Vladivostok was the gateway to the east, right? Anyway, yeah. So we decided in 1854 to have a war, the Crimean War, with the Russians. And we went like that, I tell you what, to the French. Tell you what, French, will you give us an hand? And they said, yeah, give you an hand. And the Ottomans, the Ottoman Empire. So they were fighting the Russians. And as you know, with the charge of the Light Brigades, that would never have been, that great mistake would never have been highlighted only for Alfred Lord Tennyson. Am I right?
You are so right.
Right. So there you go. You see, you have that. We've always hated Russia. Always. And to make it worse, after the Second World War, the Soviets won the war. The Americans didn't. The Soviets did. The Soviets just obliterated the Germans, but they lost 27 million men and women in the process of defeating the Nazi Germany. Now, you've got to think that 2/3 of the might of the German army were in Russia fighting Russians. Well, the Soviets. And yet that's 1/3 of the German army fighting all the Allies after the Normandy invasion. 1/3. And they still couldn't get to Berlin first. 1/3 of them keeping them out. The German army keeping all the Allies out. Hundreds of thousands, millions going into. So you look at the Soviets, and they get to Berlin first, right through Russia, right to Berlin. Whereas they all landed in France and still couldn't get there over the roads, if you know what I mean. So then, with that, Polo, you go back to the 50s now. You go into the 50s, And what's Russia did? They say communism. Communists. Oh, I don't like them communists. These are the Yanks. These are the Americans. Then you have all these writers and whatever doing all these film scripts for the cinema and actors. Right. So what they were afraid of is any films scripts that were written would, encroach into the communism and bring it to the, how good communism is. This is what they were afraid of, the Americans. So they purged them. They purged all the writers. They purged all the actors. One of the actors was, what's it? I always forget his name. No. Sam Wanamaker. And he came over, he just came over to here, to England, and he kept acting here. Now, he was exiled from America. He was thrown out of America because of his views. But the only views he has wasn't communist, it was socialism. Socialism, Sam Wanamaker. But yet there's another fella who was one of the greatest of all screen things on the silver screen. And that was Charlie Chaplin. And Charlie Chaplin was thrown out of America because of his views. And he went to Switzerland. But in the 70s, he was offered, which I was totally against, not at the time because I didn't know too much about it. But later I said, why did he accept the Oscar? Why did he go back from Switzerland over to America to the Oscars to get his Oscar? You know what I mean? And I thought that was wrong. He should have just said, stick it up where it doesn't shine.
Absolutely.
And that, that upset me really, when I started thinking about it at a later date, when I started to get used to all that. So they've always hated America. They've always hated polo, Russians, because of that. And Russia today is not communist. That's the irony. They're not communists. They're far from being communists. So you see, we've always hated them. This country has always hated Russia. And we've grown up with it. But anyone with a little brain, a little cell in the brain, they'd understand that I'm not a Russophobe. Most probably you're not a Russophobe. A lot of people are not Russophobes, but it's the elite that are Russophobes.
So in terms of what Polo says, it's kind of both, well, three: jealousy, envy, greed. That kicks in, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And now, right now, this minute, why is Russia the bad guy?
Yeah.
Jealousy, envy, greed.
Yeah. It's, as I said, it's like when the Crimean War and Sevastopol. I said Vladivostok, didn't I? Sevastopol. They were fighting for Sevastopol to get to the east. And the British thought that they could take that. It's incredible. And this is why the whole of Europe are Russophobe. But I'm talking about the elite. I'm talking about the likes of Brussels and von der Leyen. You want to check up on her. She's horrible, eh?
Yeah.
Horrible woman. She's giving their Greenland away. And I guess who wasn't around the table today? While this Rutte, this complete arsehole, was saying, yeah, well, you can have it, you can have a piece of it. Right. Who was around the table? Denmark wasn't around the table. And neither was the Greenland people. They weren't around the table for Rutte to be saying, well, you can have... And he's the head of NATO. You got to. People don't realise how bad NATO is and what they do. They go in and bomb anyone then because they're America. NATO is America. That's why they want to keep NATO because more regime change. They want to go in now into Cuba. They want to go into Cuba.
Yeah.
It's shocking what they're doing.
It's the other thing about going back to the war years. Who was it that liberated Auschwitz?
The Soviets. The Soviets. And they fed them. You know, they couldn't like give them loads of food because it killed them. And water. It was shocking.
But we don't see that on the ITV documentaries or your BBC documentaries.
No. And TW, even in Frank and Anthony.
Good evening, TW.
The Freedom Journey. Good evening, gents and good people in the chat.
Good evening, Freedom. Wouldn't that be a wonderful thing to say every morning? Good evening, Freedom.
Yes. What a name that is, though.
Beautiful.
What a name, Freedom Journey. You know, the journey to freedom. Isn't it? The journey to freedom.
Oh, yeah.
And Johan says, have you seen Trump's Board of Peace?
Yeah. They've apparently fucked off on them, haven't they? Yeah.
What was that? Was that you? Did you go ping then?
Did I go ping? Yeah, I don't know.
That was the biggest ping I've ever heard in my life.
There was a big ping, wasn't it?
Yeah. Shocked me. But anyway. Yeah, Johan, it's absolutely ridiculous. The Board of Peace. And $1 billion to join it. Where does the money go? It goes to where Donald. The money. You want to join?
Donald.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Hi, Frank and Anthony and everyone. Like and subscribe, says Christopher.
Sound advice, Christopher.
I'll go straight down here. Bella says, Franco, be fair to Trump. No, I won't be fair to Trump. I won't even read that out. I'm sorry. Sorry, Bella. Sorry. Totally disagree with you. Bella says, Johan, Dmitriev was in attendance today, which is a good sign of their good faith. Whose good faith was... you want to listen to more? Don't be listening to the stupid fucking the Western press, please don't. I don't follow the biased media. I follow Moscow Times online. Okay. And Johan says, Walt Disney was consulted when they created the anti-communist list in Hollywood. Yeah.
As was John Wayne, the well-known shithouse.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Ronald Reagan.
Yeah. There used to be an actor called Sterling Hayden.
Yeah.
Sterling, and he was like that to the authorities. Oh, he's a communist. You know, his friends, actors and writers. And I seen him in an interview. I'm talking about, I think the 80s. I think he was an old man then. And he's sitting there and he's crying. He's saying, I gave away, you know, I was only young. And the interviewer said, well, why did you do it? It's no use crying now
Snide.
because those people who you gave up and said they were communists and they had communist links are dead now.
Finished.
Sterling Hayden.
Yeah. And then you have the greats like Arthur Miller, who knew that was coming.
Yeah.
And they tried for him, didn't he?
Well, Freedom says correct, Anthony. Seems like a lot of people forget the Soviets' role in defeating the Nazis. Of course they do. That's why Trump came out, didn't he? I always remember Obama in his inauguration speech. He just said in his inauguration speech, when he was standing there like that, with his right hands up and had the Bible in his hands, and just put and said, "We won the two world wars." No, you didn't, you fool! I was screaming at the telly listening to him. And then Trump came out and said, "We won the war."
He's won every war.
We won the war.
They've never won anything in their lives.
And Paulo says, "You're spot on, Frank. Russia was unbelievable minerals to tap. The elite class would love to get their hands on it." Chris Kitchens spoke about it. Yeah, of course, because there's if anyone, I bet you Johan knows. You might know as well, Paulo. And my old mate Steve Mulholland, they know, you must know this fella. A fella named Bill Browder. He was in when Yeltsin was there, Yankees, and he's a fucking saint in this country now. They knighted him, and I was shocked. I didn't even know. They knighted him. He's a Yank. Anyway, he was there. And when Putin came in, he got rid of all the oligarchs, and he hates Putin. He hates him with a passion. And I used to listen to this fella. This is well before Ukraine. And I'm listening to this fella, and I'm going, the hate coming from him. The hate. No wonder, he said he killed my lawyer. He killed my lawyer. Putin killed his lawyer. You see what I mean? Because he was fighting. He was fighting, for him to stay. Because he was lucky not to go to jail. They were going to jail him. They were going to give him 50 years in jail. You'd never survive in a Russian jail. No one will survive in a Russian jail. Anyway, he got fucked off. He said, "Go on, fuck off. Get out of the country." Bill Browder, and he was an oligarch. He wanted all the minerals. He wanted the oil. He wanted everything. Everything this fella and his firm was doing. His company. And the rest of the oligarchs. Fuck. Stephen says, my old mate, Trump said in Switzerland, if it wasn't for us, you would be speaking Germany. See what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
See what I mean? This is what they're like. This is what they're like.
Lie after lie after lie. And that's why you got to embrace the literary geniuses.
That's why I didn't answer it, Johan. Hang on a minute. That's what I'll answer this. That's why I didn't answer it, Johan. It's the Moscow Times is English. It's not based in it's not based here in Moscow. They just tell lies. Sorry, I'm awfully sorry, Bella. Honestly, sweetheart. I think she's left us now anyway. How do you think Harris would have handled world affairs? Oh, I'm not even answering that. And Paulo says, yes, Bill Browder, that's him. Fucking horrible, him. like the rest of the oligarchs. Like he'll be in fucking Davos, him. Can I change track now?
Absolutely. Somewhere in the mix, you recited me the most beautiful poem the other night when we talked privately. One of yours,
Oh, one of mine.
and there was a connection to because you were inspired. That is partly our makeup. We are all inspired by other people to do what we do. In
Yeah,
a good sense,
Keats.
and feel inspired by a outright genius, but was not recognized in his lifetime. And you, however, my dear best mate, are recognized in your lifetime. So it would be good to hear something about love rather than.
Well, all right, I'll read it. I'm trying to get it. Oh, for fuck's sake. I, oh, I'm from there anyway. Right, let's see. Let's see. Do you know what? I haven't got my reading glasses.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Let's see.
See, if we were part of Scooby Doo or something, I'd be able to pass them over.
Do you know what? I forgot the bloody title. Yeah, I've got it. I'll have to go and get my glasses, I'm afraid. I'm sorry.
Cool. Cool.
Sorry.
I was talking to Frank the other day, guys, about a film which has been out since 2009, and it's called Bright Star, and it's a kind of semi-biography of the poet John Keats, who we're both fans of. And it was quite remarkable, really, in that the simplicity of life is that we sometimes do things that are not seemingly appreciated by anyone else. Keats, many years after he died, was appreciated for what he did. And Frank had said to me that he'd written some poetry based not on a Keats poem, but from where Keats came from, which is the bottom line is love. It's about acceptance and it's about life as we know it.
Thank you. Yeah, because Keats has inspired me. The likes of Wilfred Owens inspired me. Brownie. Even Blake.
Yeah,
William Blake.
yeah.
But anyway, this is the poem I wrote, and wrote it a few years ago, to be honest. And it's called Distant Hearts. Because, I was thinking at the time about people missing each other. And then I read, when I was reading about Keats, and I was reading his letters to his girlfriend, and how he missed her because he was madly in love, and he was sent to Rome by his physicians, to try and recuperate because he was suffering from tuberculosis. And he missed her badly, and she missed him terribly. And he just said, on my walks, I have two luxuries that I look forward to: your beauty and loveliness at the hour of my death. Oh, if I could have them both at the same time. Think about that. One of the greatest quotes ever written by someone who misses his girlfriend. And he knew that he was dying. And he did die then. And his girlfriend, a month later, received that letter, didn't she, Anthony?
She did, yeah. Sadly, with the distance and the
It's not like
obviously,
today, she could have easily have gone over within 2 hours to Rome.
yeah,
2 hours. But then, weeks. That letter took a month to get from Rome to London. Anyway, this is the poem I wrote, and this is what more or less based on. And it's Distant Hearts, the title is. Torn apart by distance, as the pining heart aches, longing for a gentle touch, a touch that will cure so much. Yearning to be together, a mind imprisoned by time, invisible to the eye, but visible to the thought. Oh, I long to be with you, to walk, to talk, to see, to love, stargazing in the evening strolls, hand in hand gently holding, fingers entwined, locked together, professing our love forever and ever. And that was for it was the inspiration of Keats and
yeah,
his quote, his letter to his
yeah,
girlfriend.
yeah. And that is the greatest gift that we can give to a fellow human, is that connection and that love.
It is, it's
And it's
so sad that, anyone like that in history, in literature, in reality, in life, because that was all reality, that was written, when he wrote the letter, that was reality. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to be there. And the luxury, he knew that he was dying. And he said, to have your loveliness and beauty at the hour of my death, oh, to have them both. Oh, to have them both at the same time. Think about that.
yeah,
And when she's read that, she was told that he was dead.
yeah. A month or so after he died and been buried.
And Bella says, Johan, I know that Moscow Times is in Amsterdam. It's not written by Moscow. It's got nothing to do with Moscow. No Russians. It's an English paper that's printed in Amsterdam. It's English. You know what we're like? I was being sarcastic, says Ray Harris, but I was trying to be polite in case there was any admirers on here. And Freedom says, guys, thanks to you, I started reading Jane Eyre. Absolutely magnificent and really enjoying every line in it. There you go.
There you go. Well
That's
done,
the
Freedom.
freedom of journey.
That's brilliant. I mean, for me, I thought the best stage film adaptation was a fairly recent one. I think it was in the 2000s, and it was BBC's adaptation. And it's a great cast. I mean, solid. Like you'd sit and it's no loose spanners. It's just brilliant.
Well, do
I
you know
guess
what we were talking about before? About I said if any mothers, if any
yes,
mothers would have, no mothers would have signed that paper, right? Would Jane Eyre, if she has a son, would she sign it?
no,
There you go. There you go. And don't
would you?
forget, Jane Eyre Freedom is based on Charlotte Bronte herself. It's loosely based on her.
Yeah,
It's
so
like a semi-autobiography of herself.
yeah, and she'd been through the poison of propaganda. If you do this, if you do this, if you don't do this, and the punishment that all brings, life, the fear when when life takes us down a path. Someone says, "If you don't do this, Francis, you will. This will happen." Well,
Yes.
where's it come from? What you know? Keep
So,
you in line. Keep you
so
in line.
see, you know when you read books, you've got to understand that the ones I read, the classics, and going back to Shakespeare, his contemporaries as well. And when you start reading them, you you've got to understand how they were writing them in candlelight.
Yeah,
Candlelight.
yeah,
Think about that.
yeah,
Candlelight with a little quill pen.
yeah.
Just imagine if they had the technology that we've got. How many plays would have been written?
How many?
How many poems would have been written?
You can't even imagine it. It's but the bottom line is the emotion. I feel that connects to every word and the underlying truth. Well, from the readers, the writers that we appreciate. There are millions of writers. You know,
Yes, yes.
George Snyder from there and Sylvia Plump from somewhere else. But they write about fantasy life,
But
but things that impact on us emotionally are the writers that write about real life.
true. No, you're right. Because if I was going to write something, it'd have to be about real life. Dickens. That's why Dickens is so popular, because his characters were based on real life people.
Yeah,
Real life people. That's why he was so popular.
yeah,
You look at Jane Eyre. Jane Eyre is based on what she wanted to do
yeah. What you went through.
and what she went through. The Red Room, the Auntie, everything. Incredible. Anyway, my old mate Karen Kariakou. Good evening, Frank, Anthony, and everyone. Here's to another week. Thank you, Karen.
Good evening, Karen. Nice to have you with us.
She's lovely, Karen. And her husband, Steve. Lovely fella. Lovely he is. So is Karen, to be honest. And Toscana says, freedom. Haworth in West Yorkshire is a great place to visit. Jane Eyre. Yeah,
Yeah,
I used to take my students up there as well, Toscana.
I love the landscapes of Yorkshire. That's the closest we have really to You look at the again. We love Tuscany. I love the image of Tuscany. You've been there. I've not been there. I want to go there. And it's just the scale of things. Yorkshire is absolutely brilliant to drive through, to stop. We are tiny. We are minute. Like our wonderful hero William Blake said, we are grains of sand. Not even that. So the enormity of this beauty has got to be inspiring, you know.
Yeah, yeah. No, look, everybody. Do you know what I found out as well? Do you know Christopher Lee, for example?
Yeah,
And just bear with me on this. Now, Christopher Lee could speak several languages, and I mean, I don't know how many, but there was more than 8, apparently, more than 8 languages fluently without an accent. Christopher Lee, right?
yeah,
Now, he said he hated playing Dracula. Hated it. Because he went to, we went to drama school after the war,
yeah,
and he was a war hero, as
yeah,
you know. And Fleming wrote about him, his character. Again, if you believe in things, you've got to write really about a real life character or characters to make it real.
That's what that's what hits us.
Yes, that's it. And when you look at Shakespeare and what he says, they're based on real life characters. They're based on real life characters as well. The likes of Macbeth. Now, was you thinking, oh, Macbeth, yeah, oh, well, he was a real life character. Yes, his tragedy speech is totally not in. It's about people who were in the dock down in London.
Yeah,
For a gunpowder plot.
yeah.
And
Who didn't have a voice of their own. Who didn't have a voice of their own. He became their voice.
it just shows you, doesn't it? Just shows you how much. Do you think everybody's read a book, by the way?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
And it's the writers, as you're describing the act of writing, what motivates you to do something, what motivates you to paint a picture, build a car, whatever motivates us in life is not what the world is doing out there. It's something inside you. Oh my word. If we were all of the frame to do something for the beauty of doing it rather than the how much money I can make on that. Frank, I've designed a box, we could make a bit of money on that. Wow.
Everything's about greed.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at this. Lauren Bianchi. Isn't that a lovely name?
Yeah. Beautiful.
Bianchi. Lauren White. But it sounds better in Italian, doesn't it? Rather than white. Lauren Bianchi.
If you were to read a shopping list based on loaf of bread, pint of milk, packet of bacon, some eggs, if you were to read that in Italian, oh, that would sell 1 million copies.
Well, do you know Sophia, my granddaughter?
Yeah,
She's being confirmed. I was talking to Francine today. She phoned me, and she's getting confirmed. And anyway, she said, I said, well, name her Lucia. She said, is that a saint's name, though? I said, Santa Lucia. Haven't you ever heard of it? I said, they sing it at the ground. And she said, oh, yeah. I said, Santa Lucia. I sang it to her. Santa Lucia. So she went, oh, yeah, I have. I said, well, so she said, I'll put it to her. She says, and her name will be Sophia Francesca Lucia. Oh, it's only like this Bianchi and Bella and Toscana. Sounds better than Italian.
that's beautiful. I've got a photo which I'll have to send through to you. When our Emily, when she went through, I took a photograph, and within a dingy church hall, and the photograph looks like the Mona Lisa, with the light and everything else gone. It was I've taken about 50,000 photographs in my life, but not one has kind of morphed into this special one. I'll send it to you. I'll send it tomorrow, and
Okay.
you get it. But it's a beautiful part of their growing up, and that's wonderful what you described. Yeah,
It just shows you, doesn't it, that a name,
yeah,
just a name, and people shoot the names, but other people's don't. If you know what I mean.
yeah. No. And sometimes we grow into our names. For nearly all of my life, I was known as Tony or Ant or Alito. And when I lost my mum, we lost my mum, um, and exhibitions were coming up and stuff like that. And people would say, well, what name do you want on the posters and stuff? And I immediately said, Anthony, because that was the name my mum gave me. And there was reasons behind that. And as you and your family. And so since then, for over 20 years, it's been Anthony rather than,
Well, well, funny enough, when I was doing a watch along last night, one of the comments came up, and it said, "Are you Francis?" Blah blah blah. And I immediately thought, wonder who that is,
it knows me.
because it's either family or
Yeah.
people who personally know me, if you know what I mean. I knew who it was. It was a lad named Mariotti from New Zealand.
Okay.
He left it, he went to New Zealand to make a new life. And he said, it's me, Ario. And it was great. It was great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For somebody, to be watching the game well, God knows what time it was there.
A connection again.
Yes.
We're all humans. We all share a space for a relatively short time, and it's respect, which I love, and it's also, connection, total connection.
That's what they all. That's what it's all about. Connection. It's like Owen Lee there. Evening, Frank and Anthony. And chat. Sorry, I'm late. Doesn't matter as long as you're with us.
You're not late, oh, you're here. and so are we at the same time.
And we've got an essay here. It's Karen.
Oh,
She says, I visited Picton Library today. How calm it is. I went in for The King of Sunlight, a book about William Lever. I sat and started reading the book in the reading room. It was so humbling to see so many people reading and studying too. Another amazing building we have. I wandered around the library dumbstruck by many books on offer. How lucky we are. Yes.
yes.
And where you were reading that was in the
Picture room.
Picton room, yeah. Or where do you think? Who's known as the greatest Liverpudlian?
Of the Roscoe.
The Roscoe room could have been as well. I
Either,
used to study down there myself.
either of them look like a work of art. I mean, hopefully, Karen, he's will be one of my portraits for this year. I'm just waiting on a couple of emails, and I will involve Frank in it as well. But yeah, William Lever, what a remarkable man. Yeah, and we talk about it often.
Did you know that he took a shot? He went around the wrong way rather than going to where he was going, Lever. And there was something wrong with the road or something like that. I don't know what it was. Could have been a ditch. Could have been. And he was in he was in his, horse-drawn carriage, and his driver had to go another way. He said, "I'm sorry, my lord, I'll have to go another." Okay, so we went another way, and he says, "Who are these people?" Because he was going through this place he'd never been through. He said, "Oh, they're your workers." He said, "What?" Because he's seen the slums that they were living in. They were living in slums. Hence, Port Sunlight.
You know what?
He built it. He said, my workers are not going to live anymore. Built that.
That again, that underlines everything that we've been talking about for years. The inspiration. If anyone's not been there, please give it a visit. Port Sunlight Village is absolutely amazing.
I gave a talk there, didn't I?
You did? Yeah, and hopefully another one.
And it was funny, wasn't it? Really funny. And being helped in again by Lainey, and well, she was helping the pair of us in, wasn't she?
Yeah.
I'm going to see the Spinal fella next week. Or girl, I don't know who it is. It's
you go. It's
next Wednesday.
Fantastic. Brilliant.
Next Wednesday I'm going.
Yeah.
I just hope that even if it's 25% better.
Fantastic.
25%. That's all I need.
I know. Imagine the boozers we can hit in town. 25% better. Oh my God. We'd start at where do we start? The Crown Lime Street.
Yeah.
Work through.
The Crown and Lime Street. Shall I tell you a funny story? It wasn't funny at the time, like. I'm looking for my friends, how old am I? 20. A black hair then. 20, no glasses then. I could see. And it goes in the Crown, they're not there. I went in I went in the legs of man. They weren't there. I went, so anyway, I had to have a drink in there because you go in and have a drink.
I
Came
love
out, and I went along Lime Street, right into the Crown. And goes in, has another day, not there. Drinks that up. I only had glasses at the time. We only drank glasses, half pints. So we came out of there. And as I was walking along, I was going into the Yankee bar. Then if they weren't there, it would have gone onto the big house, the Vines. So anyway, as he came out of there, Anthony, I started to walk along. All of a sudden, I felt these pounds on the back of my head, built. And it was a girl behind me, and she was hitting me over the head. She said, "Where have you been? And when it turned around, she went, "Oh, I'm sorry." Still on belly. I thought you shut me up. Get masses all over with a number out. So, that's the Crown for me.
Welcome to the real world.
Welcome to the reality. That's what. Do you know the inside the Crown? I'd love to show you it, because people went fantastic.
Yeah, love it. I love it in there. Yeah, I really do. I didn't used to go there when I was a younger guy. It was more central town, the start at the Midland and then walk into town, up what was Casey Street and stuff, and in through that way. So you but I've got to tell you a story, and I don't think years ago I used to play in bands a lot and did. We got a residency at the Legs of Man, like twice a month or something like that. We went to the Legs of Man, and there was 3 of us in the group, and I sang and played, bass player sang and played, and the drummer played. He was technically the greatest musician, the drummer. But anyway, we got in there and I did my bit, and then I said to Steve, the bass player, "You do your song." And his pet favourite song was a Bob Dylan song. But as we're kind of setting up to do that song, the room packed out. And I thought, oh, great. No words got out that we may be all right. So we start singing his song, which was Knocking on Heaven's Door. So we start singing that, and I'm playing along, and then I can see Tony, the manager at the back. So I couldn't stop. So I looked at Steve and said, "Stop." So we stopped the song, and then he came over and he said, "There's a funeral just coming."
Knock on heaven's door. That was a funeral.
You pick your moments, don't you? And that was that.
Moment. You see? That's incredible. That's a knock on heaven's door. I was getting shocked and you were made up.
We just see the room pack out and we thought, oh, great. No.
Do you know what? I was finished that. That's a cracking song, though, isn't it? Anyway.
I've never played it again since. That was like 1989. Never happened.
Wow. Toscana, December the 13th is Santa Lucia Day, huh?
Oh, there you go.
Bella says to Toscana, "How are you?" And Karen says, "Good luck for next week, Frank. We need you back in our city, doing what you do best. I miss our tours." Well, if we get all right, when the warmer weather comes, what I'll do for you all, um, I'll take the people out who are on this. I'll just take you out and give you a tour of Liverpool, the city, and show you wonderful things that are missed. It's just like what Steve Mulholland says here, the old mate. There are 5 or 6 hidden cigars in the ceiling of the Crown pub. How about that? And it's things like that that I shot. I don't mean I don't mean the cigars in the pub. What I mean is things that are. I think they're blind to the to the public. That sounds bad, like, blind to the public, and they are, because people, they just walk past things, and there are some remarkable things that they walk past. Some remarkable things. And some remarkable things that are something to do with, say, myths, urban legends. They become urban legends. So it's a sort of tour that I give. A tour that I give, just say, I've never seen that in my life. And when someone says, yeah, but what does it mean? I tell them who've actually seen it, I wonder what that is. And there are certain things, especially in Dale Street, believe it or not. Well, William Brown Street, the Plateau, first and foremost. William Brown Street, Dale Street, Castle Street, Queen Avenue, off Dale Street and off Castle Street, because it's a letter L.
Yeah.
Exchange flags, and down at the Pierhead. Very important things that need to be pointed out, because they just look at buildings and they go, wow, isn't that great? It's a lovely building, but there are things on there that they're blind to. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Buildings are blind to the public. They don't see them. Or if they do see them, they don't know what they're about. That's what I do.
The history behind it, yeah, which is
behind it.
Yeah. St. Maun's Bank, India Buildings.
Yes. And as Karen says, can't wait for that, Frank. It will mean so much to us. Thank you, Karen.
Will. I'm with you, Karen.
Thank you. So you see, when I go there, when I see this particular individual, I don't know whether it's male or female, just 25%. That's all that I want. 25% of what I am now, that'll do me. I don't need 100% thing, just 25% would be great for me. It'll give me a new lease of life for what I am now.
Yeah.
Struggling.
Yeah.
And I really want to go to, I was saying to Francie, and I'm being honest, I've booked for, I've paid for it. And, to go to a place called Lido di Eslo.
Yeah.
And, you can get to Venice from there. Brilliant. Get to Verona from there. you can get. I'm going to the Dolomites. Definitely going there. You can get to the Dolomites there. Francine was telling me, she was showing me all these things, and I'm made up with that. I love the Dolomites, Dolomiti, and it's just it's something that I want to look forward to, because I really need to show Sophia Juliet's balcony in Verona.
Yeah.
And the next thing is you and I and Lainey.
Yeah, we're going to see Vincent's. We're going to Leonardo and Michelangelo and have a coffee outside their gaff
Imagine.
and just
Fantastic.
breathe it in and put it out here in some way.
And I'm also going to leave a legacy with the fella who let me down for the last 2 years. I've got a fella now, the drone man.
Yeah.
So I'll be seeing him. So I'll be leaving the legacy in the summer, and I'll just put that out on YouTube.
And
That'll be my legacy.
I know privately we've spoken about the people that you would like involved in that.
Yeah.
I absolutely 100% think they would love it.
Yeah. Because it's going to be, I think the people who like Liverpool, I'm talking about the city, I'm talking about the architecture, I'm talking about certain characters,
The humour,
and what's inspired them. People might think, oh, well, you'll be sitting down talking. No, won't be. Be talking outside these particular places that's inspired. Am I right, Anthony?
absolutely. I can see the pictures in my mind, and I know for a fact that people will love it.
And it's not going to be loads of people, by the way. It's because there's lots of history to be shown as well, and seen and heard. All the buildings and things.
Yeah.
Some buildings and buildings that you've never even seen, and you've seen, but you never thought about them. That's why they're so important.
Yeah.
So important. Look, Johan. Praise and love, Frank. Hoping for good news next Wednesday. Johan.
Fantastic. That's wonderful. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely wonderful. And it will be great.
Yeah, certainly will. Because, it's like what Karen said. It's, she more or less said, you're not doing what you love doing. Like with little tours and that.
Yeah, no.
You knew that I was very active. Karen knew that I was very active.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, bang, I always remember, Brian Nash out of the Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Nash, yeah. He phoned me up and he said, listen, Frank, will you take just a few people out? He said, they're Americans. I said, yeah. He said, they're friends of mine. I said, yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I took them out. I've got a picture here. And there was, honestly, I'm in the exchange flags.
Yeah.
And I'm talking. And I've shown them, Nelson's monument. And I'm talking. And I seen this girl coming towards the group, and she's standing with the group listening. And I've just carried on. And it was a Mexican girl. A Mexican. And she'd just come in on the ship. You know, she's like a tourist.
Yeah.
And she missed, you know, someone who they went out with, you know, some historian, I don't know, or supposed historian. And anyway, when they got back to the ship, I kept in touch with her.
Oh,
And she said, "Am I so glad that I bumped into you?" And I said, "Why?" You know. And she said, "Because when I got back to the ship after our tour," she said, "it was so wonderful." She said, "I got back, and the people who came back on board, they said, what was it?" She said, "What was it like?" They said, "It was terrible." Not me, you know, like whoever they went out with, you know, the crowd that she
yeah.
missed. And
Yeah.
she said, "I mentioned you," and she showed the photograph. But anyway, let me just show you. Let me just show you this photograph, if I might. Do you know, I've got a photograph of Stephen Hawkins.
Get
That's,
away. Do you mean?
yeah, you know, when he was all right. Try and
Yeah.
show it in a moment. When he was all right, and you know, because he was one of the greats of
Yes.
all greats.
Yeah.
Such a shame about that man. The big brain.
Yeah. But he shared what he knew and what he found and what he discovered,
Yes.
which is the beauty of it. Did you ever get charged a fiver or a tenner or whatever for being part of his class?
Me.
No, I mean he's just one of those that gave it. He absorbed it. He researched it. He put it out to us.
Yes. No. Do you know what? I can't find this. I've got that many bloody photos. Oh yeah, there it is. And these, you see, Nasha right at the back, and you see the little Spanish lady.
Oh,
Nasha's right at the back, and there's the Spanish lady, the Mexican.
do you look a happy bunch?
Yeah, really lovely, you know. But that, and that's what I do miss.
Yeah.
That's what I do miss. There's Frank. It's Sophia.
Oh no, I love that photo. I've seen that. Your Francine shared it one time on
She,
Facebook. Oh, that's brilliant. That yeah. Look like a Bay City roller.
can I tell you something? You said that. This girl, and I said, "Yeah, I'll take you out." And anyway, I said, "I'll see you outside the Odeon," because we used to go into the, God blimey, I forget the name of the pub. You said I was in there. I looked over towards the Odeon, right? So this girl, you know, anyway, long story. So I looked out, and one of the lads went, "Hey, Fran, is that girl you're taking out?" So I walked over and I looked, you know, because the door there has a big, you know, like window sort of thing, so you could look out.
Yeah.
And I went, and it was. Do you know what she was dressed up like? Honestly, a Bay City roller. You know, like trousers up to the like the calf, But turn around. And turn around here. I do pick him, don't I? I do pick him.
Oh,
Mad it is.
fashion lets us down every time.
All the time, unfortunately.
That's
And
why I stopped following.
Karen says, wow, Drone, your legacy. I still have your DVDs. I can't get rid of them. Thanks very much. No one wants them, you mean, Karen? No one wants them. Your info on our city is short, concise, interesting, and at times humorous. Well, that's nice. Thank you, Karen. Thank you so much. And Johan says, when you're better, you should come to Mars. Then again, I'd love to go around to Mars, but you'll have to have a words with Elon, to send me up there to you, Johan. I'll show you around, he said.
I believe there's no grouse up there, so I'll give it a miss. Thanks, guys.
Oh, you don't know, not with Johan now. He's been there for months, hasn't he? He's been there for months.
I like you.
Karen says, message from my Steve. Loves hearing you chatting to me and the listeners when he comes home from work. Not forgetting the reruns. I watch a view that I do in bed. That's really good job. He trusts us.
Good evening, Steve. When you're in.
Oh, that's lovely. That Toscana says to Bella, I'm getting better. A long process, but I'm getting there. Hope you're okay. But I say to Franco and Antonio and all you lovely family, sweet dreams. She's gone, Bella.
Beautiful, Bella. Thank you.
Well, Bella means beautiful. Isn't that nice? Bella.
Yeah.
Bella d'Italia. Beautiful Italy. Yes. And Karen says, there's no atmosphere on that. No, he's got it all. Yeah. He brought machines off for Elon. Johan did. And he's got all these machines out and, there's loads of air. He's got loads of water as well. And he mows the lawn because grass has grown. Never mind what Anthony says, there's no grass up there. He's got lawns and everything up there. Johan has.
I love that. Edward Lear got there before him, though, didn't he?
I remember, Karen, she put a comment up once. And she said, when Steve and I, miss the show, we get the laptop, bring it to bed, and you're in the middle of us looking at it.
And then
she said that, sitting in the middle of them like that. I always remember, do you ever remember, what was his name? Mike Yarwood.
Yeah. Right. Every Saturday night, yeah.
And he was taking off that, what was his name? This is your life. What was his name? Okay, now. What was his name? Anthony. Remember he used to do This Is Your Life? The Irish fella.
Oh, yes. Oh my God. I can see his face, but his name is gone. Yeah.
It's not Eamon. No, it's not Eamon.
No. Eamon Andrews.
Eamon Andrews, yes, thank you. And he was taken off him once, right?
Yeah.
And he's standing outside the house, right? And he's going, I'm going to surprise, Yeah, and he mentions the say like Brian. I'm going to surprise Brian. So anyway, the next you see Brian with a girl and they're in bed. Right? The next you just see the middle of them, the clothes going up the middle, and you see Mikey Howes, and he said, Brian, womanizer of the year, married to Sylvia. And I know that you're not here in Sylvia's bedroom, but here we are, and this is your life. Brian's like that. And the girls looking like them. It was one of the funniest sketches I've ever seen. Mikey Howard.
Oh, just brilliant. Do you know the best impersonation I ever heard of Eamon Andrews was on our wedding day. Elaine and I got married like 400 years ago. And the photographer, who you know very well, on the coach, as the coach is pulling in to Whittle Town Hall registry office, he says, Lorraine, this is your life, and pulls up the book. And when the bus emptied off, everyone was in pleats, and it was our Drew. Drew is the greatest impersonator in Liverpool.
Brilliant, yeah.
Oh my God! I shared a train journey with him to London, and I never laughed so much in my life, Frank.
So you don't know who you're listening to, do you, with him?
No,
You know what I mean? So many impersonations.
So he's just brilliant. It's spot on, just great. You know, when we get to London and he bangs on the door of this place in a back alley, and his voice comes down and says, "Hello," and he comes out with Bob Hoskins' voice and the expletives. Open that fucking door. Oh, sorry, Bob. And you know, he beep, 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 beep. The door opens. That was the greatest night's entertainment of my life. Just brilliant.
But he's brilliant to do, isn't he? Just a brilliant actor.
It's just brilliant all round. And
Well, that's great. Stephen Graham said to me when we were walking up Lacey Street to his party, he said, because we'd just been to see Drew,
yeah,
and that Fletcher lad, he's a director, and they were in a two-man play
yeah,
at Pauline Daniels' place. Anyway, Stephen Graham said, come on, he said, come up to the party. So I said, okay. So walking up, and I was talking about Nicolas Cage and a couple of others that he's worked with. And then I said about Liverpool, the actors of Liverpool. And he said the greatest actor to come out of Liverpool is Drew Schofield.
take me hat off to that.
He said that. And he is. He is. You're talking about the coach there and what he was saying. I took a load of, I was meeting people on the coach because he used to do coach trips. So anyway, I was standing there and they're all getting on the bus, on the coach. They're all getting on, all these old ladies and, variety of people, right? And my one at the time couldn't go. She was ill, so Francine came. I said, just collect the tickets and that. And she said, okay, Dad. So Francine was standing next to me. And anyway, I went like that. I said, hang on. I said, just take the ticket. So I went to the front of the bus and I was took off, that's all. And then I came back again and a lady dropped a ticket. So I went again behind the door, back in the front of the coach. And I went to pick it up, we bent down. Now, our Francine was standing in front of the coach at the time because when I was just taking the tickets, if you know what I mean. And
Yeah.
she was standing in front of the coach. So when they never seen it, this is at the beginning actually. There was a big queue. So anyway, when I went to the round to pick this ticket up that the lady dropped, bent down, Francine, now no one's seen her, Francine. And she went, as I bent down like that, she went, just like that. She went away there, and I went, Matt. And I went, and the people were just looking at me like that. And I had to get on the coach and say, that wasn't me, that was my daughter. He finally was taking the tickets off you.
You know what? That is totally. We talk about Dickens and Shakespeare and everyone writing about the things that touch us are the objective views of real life, and that they put that in. And he walked with a stoop, and he had a hat over one eye, and whatever descriptive thing. And there you just describe a wonderful scene for Alan Blaisdell, based on real life.
And it is, just things happen, don't they?
Did you?
Yeah. Then people really thought that it's a too, because they never seen Francie. They never seen it. She was standing in front of the coach, right in front, no one seen it. As I said, I'm picking this bloody ticket up, and she just went. They were just looking at me like that, Look, Stephen Mulholland, Eamon Andrews, he couldn't get his thing. Karen, yeah. Eamon Andrews, Christopher, Eamon Andrews. Yeah. And Jeanette just tunes in. Good evening, lads. Good evening.
Good evening, Jeanette.
In a moment, Jeanette. And Johan's laughing at us, look.
We're bouncing from the scriptures to farts on the coach.
It's terrible, isn't it? But anyway, what do you think about tonight?
As every time we've been on, I loved it. I've loved tonight. Loved tonight connecting with our wonderful chat family and yourself. And it because I know it's been an odd week. And
it has. No, just because all right, I went off on a tangent again because is that to be said what we were saying there before? At the beginning.
Yeah, what you were saying is bang on, and that's what we talk about. It's like the history of life. The truth of the matter is, if not for those few that fight against the odds and put the truth out, we wouldn't know.
Well, it's only like Alfred Lord Tennyson, as I said, when he wrote about the charge of the Light Brigade. No one would have ever known about that big mistake where hundreds died, blown to bits over a mistake. No one would have known that.
No.
Right? In the Crimean War. Also, you tell me why Wilfred Owen's poems was banned for 12 years. They weren't published after the Second World War.
You didn't want
1918. Why?
You didn't want us to know? Because it's the truth of warfare. It's not. Come on, lads and girls. We'll be home by Christmas. We'll sort that out. No, that's a million miles away from actual And Wilfred Owen wrote about it. And he struggled about writing about it. He thought, should I really do this? And it was Siegfried Sassoon, as he said, who said, do it. Go with your heart. Put it down. Tell the truth.
Because he was wounded, wasn't he?
Yes.
He was wounded and he was sent to Craig Lockhart up in Scotland.
Because he
And
didn't.
the likes of Siegfried Sassoon was there. Now, have you any idea why Siegfried Sassoon was up in Craig Lockhart at the same time?
He kind of, from what my understanding is, it kind of been his family and the forces were trying to silence him. So it was either we can section you, put
Well, if
yourself.
that would have been an ordinary private, because he lobbied the MPs at Parliament. He was
Yes.
saying, why don't you stop this? Stop it.
You can stop it now, today.
Yes.
Stop it. You and I would have sectioned and we'd have died in the cell.
Oh, there's lovely Myra. Good evening, everyone. Hiya, Myra. That's our girl from South Africa.
Oh, beautiful.
And Bella says, Antonio and Franco lead the way with guests to Brighton. Oh, yeah, it's Bella. Antonio and Franco lead the way with guests to Brighton every day. A YouTube family, warm and true, building a home for me and you.
From the heart, Bella.
Isn't that brilliant?
Absolutely love it. Thank you.
That's absolutely. We've kept the one she did, didn't she? Didn't we? What she said about us. And that's the same.
We're going to keep them all for when we do the book.
Yep.
From when we get a phone call from Eamon Andrews, or you do. Frank, those 50 years.
Oh, Benton Jones will pick a ticket up. Don't drop your tickets. Myra, Johan, so she says hello to Johan. I love that, when they let on to one another, because...
Beautiful. Again, it's connected. It's that we love.
It's only like what Bella said. Let me read that again. Antonio and Franco lead the way with guests to Brighton every day. A YouTube family, warm and true, building a home for me and you.
Yeah.
How wonderful is that?
Yeah.
Hey.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you, Bella. Thank you. Really mean that. And Janet says, could you come to Prescott in the spring? I would love to share some of the Shakespearean history in Prescott. You'd have to give me more information on that, Janet. Honestly, you'd have to give me more info. And, the time as well. What time is it? Afternoon? Is it evening? And Steve Mulholland. That's brilliant, Bella.
Yeah. Total.
And Myra says, Frank, much to talk about tomorrow. I went off on a tangent before, to be honest. That wasn't a tangent, it was a rant. But yes, there's loads to talk about, Myra. on the show tomorrow night. There's loads. It's horrible what's going on. It really is horrible. And Johan says, Frank, remember those images I sent from Bomb? Yes, one of them was David Sassoon. Oh, go away. Grandfather of Siegfried.
Wow.
Fucking. And that's in Mumbai now.
Absolutely brilliant. 6 degrees of separation.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. See what I mean? You know, there's Johan. We were talking about Siegfried Sassoon. And you see the connection.
Yeah.
There's connections with everything.
Yeah. There is. There is.
Mara says, any words about red? Red? I don't understand, Myra. I'm sorry. Red? Kind of thing. I really can't think. Myra, I'm awfully sorry, sweetheart. And Jeanette says, there's a sign and lights as you go along. Oh, Redbird. Do you mean Redbird? No, we've been worrying about the Redbird, Myra. And also, I don't know whether you was coming on at the time, but there was another lad by the name of Scottish Bear. Scottish Bear. We haven't heard from him, and the two of them, you know, were ill, and we knew what they were ill with, but they were still coming on. See what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, that's shocking, that. That's shocking, that. Thank you. I made, you know, a girl from South Africa asking about Redbird.
No, I'm made up. That's the passion of the family, isn't it?
Yes.
And we are all love and energies go to wish everyone the best.
And I said to Jeanette, I said, can you give me more information? You know, and she said, will you come up to Prescott? And she said, there's a sign and lights as you go along Eccleston Street, main shopping street, which says, welcome, wanderer. And she carried on by saying, you could come in the afternoon or evening, we'll find you a stage. Well, that's nice. Welcome, wanderer.
That's what we are. We're wanderers and wanderers.
Oh, there's our little Lauren. Lauren Bianchi. Lovely streets, and I love you guys. Oh, Lauren, thank you. Lauren with the beautiful name. Just imagine if Cilla Black could have been, you know, her name is White. She only had to change it to Cilla Bianchi. Now, doesn't that sound better?
That sounds like a movie stars.
It does. So does Lauren, to be honest.
Yeah.
Starring Brad Pitt, George Clooney, and Lauren Bianchi.
Yeah. Yeah.
The new starlet of Hollywood. Now, I don't watch woke films, but I'd watch that with Lauren Bianchi and wouldn't you? And Brad Pitt.
Yeah. Wanderers and Wanderers.
Ah, yes. Yes. Did you ever see that film, The Wanderers?
I think so, yeah.
That was brilliant. It's set in New York, and the lads, like, from a gang had to get back from, like, a territory, and they had to go through other gang territories to get home, back to their own territory. Absolutely brilliant it was.
Wow.
And that's how New York is today.
Yeah. 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 Wow.
To see the quote. You know when it says Brad Pitt, starring George Clooney, Brad Pitt, and Lauren Bianchi.
And Frank and Anthony.
Brad Pitt, so you're casting yourself, Frank. Oh. Welcome Wonderland. Yeah, that's a Shakespearean quote, as you know that. Welcome Wonderland. But you know, when you look at Myra, what we've done tonight, it went off the scale. And as I said, you know, I really got upset as well, because tonight's show isn't about what tomorrow night's show is about. And really upset. But I don't get upset on the Friday night show simply because, you know, we come out with it at the end of the week, what's being said, what's going on in Davos, you know, at the WEF. It's shocking.
Yeah.
It's shocking. Yeah. Trump's what the other things are doing.
It's there, and it's in the same way as it was scary when Shakespeare was writing, or even Dickens, certainly Blake. It's scary now, so you can't not mention it.
No. Well, it's like what Shakespeare said, and remember when I said about the Macbeth speech?
Yes.
Where it just says, out brief candle, life is but a walking shadow. Now, a walking shadow is a person who's in the shadows and is observing you and listens to what you're saying and goes back to the people.
Snide.
Yeah. The spy. An out brief candle is just, you know, it's a candle wick, it's lit. That's the end of your life. It goes out, you like that.
Yeah.
Brilliant the way it did.
No, it is brilliant, and that's why we still rejoice. And when we had our brief chat early tonight without our wonderful family with us, we discussed the possibility of doing an outright.
Yeah, we will. Shakespeare.
Yes. So whenever we do that, I'll do some research based on the fragments of information that I came across and get it to you. And then between you, Jason, and me, we'll do it. You know.
Well, okay. I'll leave you with this quote. And who does it apply to today? From Shakespeare, right? Who does it apply to today? It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sounds of fury, signifying nothing. Who would you say that applies to?
Donald Fart.
Hey?
Donald Fart, President of the United States of
Yeah,
America.
it is. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Because that's all he does. He just signifies nothing.
Yeah,
You know, he invaded and kidnapped Maduro. Yet he's left the same people in power there, and they're going to fight. They won't go in. They won't go in. They won't use a land force. They won't use a land force because all those fellas in the jungle, you know, these cartels are waiting for them. And I wouldn't be surprised where Ukraine, they were selling all loads of arms and everything on the black market. And I wouldn't surprise. I know some was going to well, quite a lot actually, was going to South America. And it wouldn't surprise me if they went to the cartels in South America. And I'm talking about missiles and everything. Because they were selling them on the black market, Zelensky and his crew. And he came out, Zelensky, today and said, you know, he was talking about Iran and he was in Vladimir Putin. And he was saying, the more people you kill, the more power you have, the dictator you are. He's killed 1.9 million of his own people, Ukrainians, Zelensky. And he's unelected.
yeah,
He's unelected.
yeah.
He's got a anyway. But that's the way it is. Be talking about all that tomorrow night. And Johan says, funny how the politicians went from denying a deep state to then blatantly call it just the global platforms. Davos. Yes. I was talking to Anthony about the WEF and BlackRock. Johan. Privately, you know, talking to. It's the way it is. Just imagine we've got South Africa on with Myra. Yeah. We've got Romania with Ali.
Yeah.
We go international, you see. And India with Johan. We're international, Anthony.
Yeah. Yeah. And with Dennis, we've got America.
Yeah, Dennis the Pap. Yeah. Paparak. Well, anyway, we'll finish on that. Sorry, Ali, we're finishing. Yeah, we did, didn't we? We had Thailand last night as well. You're right. Thailand. Some fella in Thailand.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah. From Tampa to Thailand and all in between.
Go. Yeah.
You can't get any better than that. And Bella's lovely.
No.
And Bella's lovely poem.
Absolutely.
And it's okay, Frank. Just came to say hello, says Ali, our Romanian friend. Thank you, Ali. You're a good man. And Jeanette says, Prescott history. Yes, I don't do Prescott. All as I know, that shaky went up there. That's why you've got a globe theatre there. I do know that. And I went to get my eyes done as well, the hospital, a few years ago. I had to get my eyes done up there. with up at Prescott, your General Hospital. I drove up there, you know, Anthony, to Prescott, you know, to this hospital.
Not
And
to
he said, you know, when he was getting my eyes done, and he said, would you like an ambulance back home? How did you get up here? I said, I drove. He said, you drove? He said, you're not supposed to drive. I said, why? He said, well, leave your car. He said, I will we'll have an ambulance. I said, no. I said, no. I said, no. I said, I'll phone up someone to come and pick me up. So he said, okay, that's good. I said, you know, I don't want to leave my car up here. So he said, okay. Anyway, I went to the car park, jumped in it and drove home. I was all right. I was not a bad driver, you know.
Good.
I was a good driver. Janet. Good night, all. Good night, Janet.
Good night, Janet.
And Ali says, I'll wait till the show when we'll talk about women. No, just kidding. All right. Good night, all, says. And Myra says, later, everyone. Thanks, Myra. See you tomorrow night. And Johan. Myra, take care, Myra. From Johan.
Yeah.
Western Hospital. Is that it? Yeah, that's where it was.
Western, yeah. Okay.
And that's why I had my little, especially when I went down there. When I tell people, you know, about here, they said, oh, did you have a stroke? I said, no. I said, it's broke my neck, you know, it's come on me years later. So I had my little license revoked. Features on Northwest tonight. Oh, Western Hospital or the Globe Theatre, Shakespeare's Globe, Shakespeare's Globe. And Myra says to Johan later, see you tomorrow night, Myra and Johan and Steve Holland and, you know, the lads who join us on it. Polo, everyone. So, Anthony, can I give you a quick call right now?
Of course you can. Yeah.
Right now, I'll just make myself a quick cup of tea and I'll ring you right away. Is that okay?
Really?
Don't mind.
No.
Okay.
Great.
I need to talk to you, see. Oh, Mick Gonzo. Have you been to the White Hart pub on Oak Street? Your background reminds me of it. The White Hart? No, I haven't. Mick. The background there, mate. I'm finishing now, Mick, but I'll just let you know. Is that's Sherlock Holmes's home, believe it or not. Sherlock, there's his fiddle there, look. Violin that he couldn't play. He was always practicing it. It's great. And Janet says, tonight's edition was live from there, it was.
Shakespeare's gaff. Oh no, from Sherlock gaff.
Sherlock's gaff.
Excuse
Good
me.
night, everybody. Cheers, Frank and Anthony says freedom. Thank you, freedom. Try and join us tomorrow.
Thank you.
And Johan says, good night, legends. Take care, everyone. Great show, Frank and Senor Antonio. Gloves off tomorrow. Yes, gloves off tomorrow.
Good night, Johan. Thank you.
And Janet says, no, Western Hospital. So it wasn't the Globe that was being highlighted by the telly. But anyway. on that note, Anthony, mille grazie for tonight. You know,
Frank, as ever, man. And thank you, one and all, everyone who's with us.
and a quick thank you to these wonderful people,
Absolutely.
Gap Services. And don't forget, if you're an elderly NHS worker, get them in. They will give you a special discount. And they sponsor the Frank Carlyle podcast every time. Lauren, yeah, look at our little starlet. Good night, Frank and Anthony, says Lauren Bianchi.
Good night, Lauren. Thank
Our
you.
little Hollywood star.
Thanks for being with us.
Yes, that's great, that. And always comment, you know, Lauren. Always comment. Thank you, Frank and Ant, says my old mate, Steve Malone.
Thank you, Steve.
Steve will be on tomorrow night. Watch.
Good.
And I've been good. I'll give you the ring in about, honestly, just let me make a cup of tea, 10 minutes.
Make your tea, put a piece of toast in, whatever. Yeah.
No, I'm not going to have anything. I just want a quick words with you.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you so much for keeping Anthony and myself, you know, company. Great comments as well.
Yeah.
And I know that we went off on some mad things, you know, about Trump. I know that. I know the great comments about everything. Thank you so much. Thank you. See some of you tomorrow night. Mille grazie. Ciao. A domani. Ci vediamo. Ciao.